Life speaks. It speaks through struggles and success, through music and messages, the preconceived and the unexpected. Whether you are in the depths of the valley or in the midst of your mountaintop experience, everyone needs to be encouraged from time to time. Here we will share stories of strength, testimonies of triumph, verses of victory, observations, and information meant to touch the heart and uplift the soul, to keep you on your path of purpose and navigate this thing called life with power and authority. This is Andrea Hines, and I'm your host for When Life Speaks, here on ALH Broadcasting, an affiliate of the Streaming Inspirational Broadcast Network. I am glad you accepted the invitation to join us tonight. There's something in this broadcast just for you, and if it is going to be a blessing to your life, it will be to someone else as well. So share, tag, start a watch party, and invite someone you know to join us. Then turn down the volume of life and get ready to receive, so that when life speaks, you'll speak life. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to When Life Speaks. Hey there, Lynette. How are you this evening?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to have you with me back again this evening, and we have some folks that have already come on tonight. Good evening to you, Ida. Glad to have you on the program tonight. And Linda Cooks, glad to have you on tonight. Macy Hill, good evening to you. Glad to have you on tonight. And I tell you what, we have some issues. And if you notice, Lynn is in the center of her box there. She's not a full screen. And we don't know why. She's a square. She's just a thumbnail square. But look, if any of you know anything techie about all of this stuff, or if you know someone techie about all of this stuff before we get off the air, that can help us navigate and try to figure out why that is. Her picture should be the same size as mine is. It should be a full screen, and we can't get it to a full screen, and we don't understand why that's happening. And look at that face. We can't have that face. We got to fix this. So if you guys know anybody who knows about this stuff and can help us out, we really would appreciate it. But we thank you for joining us. We thank you for being with us. We're going to get it taken care of. And we have a good show planned for you tonight. And sometimes when we do shows, we don't know that we're going to end up in two parts. But that's not what's going to happen tonight. Tonight, we already know. We already know coming out the gate that we're going to be in two parts tonight. Hey there, Victoria Henderson Poole. Glad to have you on with us this evening as we continue our parenting discussion. Ida, you will be getting something in the mail from me, and Victoria, you will be getting something from me as well, as it relates to this whole parenting journey. Yes, ma'am.
Do I get something in the mail?
I sent you something.
In the mail?
In the email mail.
Oh.
You know I meant the email mail, girl. Don't even try. Had me all confused. But we had talked a lot about, well, not a lot about, but the last time Lynn and I were together on the program, we were talking about mother-daughter relationships. And we talked about communication, and we talked about generational blessings. And we talked about how we basically do the best that we know how to do because there's no manual. There's no
Mhm.
manual for parenting. And we get in it, and sometimes it's kind of like the commercial, the commercial that they have that with the first child, the mom has got it all bundled up and keeping it safe and making sure there are no germs and everybody's washing their hands and everything. But by the time they get to that third kid, it's dragging its own blanket and just some of the things
Fend
have
for
been
yourself.
relaxed just a little bit. Good evening to you, Bernice. Glad to have you on tonight. So we talked about those things, and we were getting into the issues of parenting. And I told Lynn I wanted to wait because I didn't think that we would have enough time to really explore the topic like I wanted to. So I sent out a survey today to some of the villagers. Uh, Victoria, I missed you. Bernice, I missed you. Ida, I did not get you either this evening, but I'm going to send it to you. And I don't know whether, Bernice, I don't know whether you have children or not, but if you don't, I would still like for you to participate in the survey. Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about parenting styles.
Mhm.
Um, Now, when we were talking before, I know Lynn was saying, there is no manual, and there isn't a manual. But I never thought about parenting styles when I was raising you. Um, I just knew I had to feed you, I had to clothe you, I had to make sure you didn't burn the house down, and things like that, just basic things like
Mhm.
that. But I didn't give thought to how my parenting style would affect you later on in your life. I didn't give a thought to it being different. It was about what worked,
Mhm.
and so I patterned my parenting after what I saw my parents do,
Mhm.
and that's all I knew to do.
Mhm.
So I think we come to a point where we either say, I'm going to do that, or
Mhm.
we say, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
What do you think? You think that's
I agree. I agree with that because I know both of my kids have said to me that there are things that I've done that they are not going to do.
hmm hmm
Um, because again, there is no manual, there's no blueprint, there's no manuscript. And I think if that were the case, then every woman would be delivering on the due date that the doctor gave us.
right?
Everything would be the same. And it's not.
Yeah.
I have two children, both of them are so totally different. So
hmm
you have to raise them different. There are things that you have to do differently. And I agree, you raised me based on what you saw my grandparents do.
Right.
I raised my children based on what I saw you do.
hmm
Um, is it right or is it wrong? I don't think it's neither one or the other now. There's some parenting that but we do the best we can with what we have,
Right.
with the knowledge of what we have,
hmm
and do we get it right all the time? Nope. But we don't get it all wrong either.
That's right. Yep.
We don't get it all wrong either.
Right.
So
Now, Angie, I see you popped in. Did you get your survey? I sent you a survey in the mail in on
email.
via email. I
That's
sent
why
you
I'm looking for something in the mail.
no, yours should be Elegant Encounter. But Angie, let me know if you got your survey, because I really want to get these out this because I want to talk about this next week. I sent a survey out just asking people, oh, you didn't get yours either. Oh, that's not good. Okay. So I need to go back and check and see what happened with that. check your email and make sure it's not there. But I will make sure that everybody gets their survey so that they can answer. And the answers that I wanted you to give are based on what I found in terms of parenting styles, um, because I didn't know there were parenting styles, and I didn't know there were so many parenting styles. But I know that what I see of parents and children now is vastly different
Mm-hmm.
than when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to take a look at what those parenting styles were and talk about them tonight, because those are the parenting styles that we'll be working off of for the survey when we come back
Mm-hmm.
next week. Now there are four kinds, and what I found was these four parenting styles were everywhere. So that's why I selected them. But
Mm-hmm.
I had also found a parenting style called crunchy parenting.
That was funny to me.
Crunchy parenting. And I thought, what in the name of, well, all this holy is crunchy parenting? So it was crunchy parenting and silky mom silky mom parenting. So at that point, I realized that it's kind of like awareness days
Mm-hmm.
when people just begin to put tags and titles on
Right.
things, like National I'm gonna eat a donut day, and just, things,
Sibling day.
yes, things like that. Things I couldn't wrap my head around. So
Right.
I kind of pushed those over to the side and decided that I would deal with the four that were predominant, and a couple that I think mirror the four main ones that were there. So these are the four that I'll be looking for you to respond to and about when you get your survey. So you may get two emails from me. One may be this parenting style, types of parenting, and the other will be the survey where you can answer the questions. The survey takes maybe 5 minutes, so it's not going to be long. It's not going to be detailed. But you do have a space to make comments. And of course, you can send any comments to me that you would like through Speak Life with Andrea at gmail.com. So let's start. Lynn, you want to read the authoritative one?
You know I don't like reading on
Oh,
the air, but I'll read it.
I can read, and you can respond if you want.
Okay.
Okay, that's what you want me to do? Okay. There are two parenting styles that are very close. One is called the authoritative
Mm-hmm.
style, and the other is called authoritarian. Authoritarian,
Mm-hmm.
authoritative, and authoritarian. Now, the biggest difference between the two of them, both of them have relatively strict rules, or
Mm-hmm.
at least there are rules in place.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest difference is, while both of them have high expectations and
Mm-hmm.
all of that, um, one is warm and responsive, the other tends to be unresponsive, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the authoritarian.
Mm-hmm.
Authoritarian.
Mm-hmm.
That is the parent that says, because I said so.
Mm-hmm.
That's that parent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you the rules. I expect you to follow the rules. You're not going to deviate from the rules. I'm not going to give you lots of hugs and warm fuzzies. And it's blind obedience.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way they said it, blind
Mm-hmm.
obedience. Now, I want to know, and this isn't on the survey, but I want to know, those who have children, when have you said, because I said so? Come on, village. You got to be answering. Because I think that you have. I think that anybody who has kids has come to a point of saying,
Because I
because
said so. Mm-hmm.
that is a trait, that is a characteristic of authoritarian um, uh, parenting styles. But I don't think that that necessarily means that you expect blind obedience all
I,
the time,
mm-hmm, I
anytime.
agree.
Hey, Zerlina, I see you on tonight too. But let me tell you what the expectation is, or
Mm-hmm,
what the outcome is for those parents who are truly, truly authoritarians.
mm-hmm,
Lower academic performance, less self esteem, poor social skills, mental illness, drug and alcohol abuse, and delinquency. When a parent is a true authoritarian. And I think it's become because the rules are so strict and the expectations are so high, and there's no balance
mm-hmm,
of the warm fuzzy, or
mm-hmm,
the, really being responsive to the child
mm-hmm.
and how that child feels.
I
um,
think that that level of authoritarian flips over to abusive.
I think it can.
When you become that, I don't even want to say regimented or strict, but authoritative. When you become that authoritative,
Hmm.
that that's that thin line of, not even a thin,
Hmm.
that's the abuse, because it then becomes mental.
Yeah. Yeah.
It becomes a mental abuse type of thing.
Hmm.
Go ahead.
No, you sure?
Can we do both? I mean, I looked at the authoritarian and the authoritative,
Hmm.
and I felt like I was like this. Like I took parts for me, pieces and parts from both of them.
Hmm.
They
Hmm.
were not all of one and all of another. Um, I clearly am the parent that believes in because I said so.
Hmm.
Because I just don't understand why, if you're 3 and I told you I need you, I said sit down, I don't think I should have to explain to you
why,
why. I,
why did he tell you to
why
stop?
do I have, no, I don't think, no.
Hmm.
Mm-mm. And I know that there are some parents that were like, well, he has a mind. Yes, he does have a mind, and we need to explain it to him because they don't really understand why. And I guess that goes back to how I was raised. If the parent said it, that settled the issue. There was no, we didn't discuss
Weren't
that.
a lot of explanations.
No, there
Weren't
was no discussion for that. And clearly, and I know all of the villagers know this one, even if they didn't say it, the look they gave,
Ooh, honey, honey, honey.
the look
Yeah.
was enough,
Yeah.
so I think I'm a cross between the authoritative and the authoritarian. I don't think that I am all of one and all of the other. I think I just take the mix of it because there has to be rules and there has to be some structure.
Now there are two of these that are very clear, that there's no bleed over, if you will. The authoritative and the authoritarian are so close together in that
Mm-hmm.
both have rules.
Mm-hmm.
Both have rules, but the authoritarian, the because I said so parent, the
Mm-hmm.
rules are so strict,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no deviation from them.
Right.
So when you guys get your survey and you see that, or you get your paper and you're weighing, okay, am I more of this and more of the other? It is kind of a best praxis. Which do I have most of?
Mm-hmm.
Which quality do I have most of? Because I was looking at that as well, Lynn, when I was thinking about it, because the authoritative parent, what is missing from the authoritarian is support,
Right.
the support, um,
Right.
the warm and
Mm-hmm.
responsiveness to the child. That's the part that's
Mm-hmm.
missing. That's what tips that over to
Right.
the other side. The outcome is usually more self-esteem,
Mm-hmm.
higher academic performance,
Mm-hmm.
better social skills,
Mm-hmm.
a lower delinquency.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked it up, and when you all look at these things, you're going to find that it is more of, am I more of
Mm-hmm.
this than I am of that? Because everybody, I think all of us embody a lot of both of these parenting
Yeah.
styles, the
Mm-hmm.
double A parenting styles.
I
Dr.
think it's the older generation though that have those two styles.
Could be, could be. Now, on your survey, you're going to be asked to give your gender. You're going to be asked to give your age, so that we can look at this and say, okay, is that 20 to
Mm,
30 group
mm-hmm.
more on this side? Is
Mm-hmm.
the 40 to 55 group, are they more on the other side? Just where do we fall?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be asked on that survey, what style of parenting do you think your parents applied
Wow.
to you? And now what are you applying with your
To
children?
yours. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Now, I looked to find what the primary difference was between the authoritative and the authoritarian,
Mm-hmm.
because I said so, parent. And here's what it said. The authoritative parents are strict and set an expectation of certain behaviors from their children, while also being caring
Yeah.
and warm.
Mm-hmm.
They take a lot of effort into creating and maintaining a positive relationship with the child.
Mm-hmm.
And they do explain the reasons behind the rules. Now, all of this, as you were talking, Lynn, is age appropriate.
Yes.
Now, you have to consider the age of the child, because some
Yes.
things can be too soon and some things go behind.
Right.
Um, they enforce rules and give consequences, but they take the child's feelings into consideration,
Right.
always making sure that the child knows who is in charge.
Right.
Who is in charge? Now, the authoritarian, also strict, but they are not considerate of the child's feelings at all.
At all.
They expect them to do what they are told to do. They are not necessarily loving. They are not necessarily nurturing. They are the kids should be seen and not heard group.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Mm-hmm.
really on the other end
Right.
of the spectrum. Um, when it comes to rules, my way or the highway,
Mm-hmm.
and children are most likely to become aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Children who are parented within that style.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask a question, because I found this and I thought it was very interesting. And it kind of started um, conversation about free range parenting and all of that. And this person wrote, Lenore Lenore Scananzi.
Okay.
And this was in 2008. So it
Okay.
wasn't very recent. But she wrote an article about it because she allowed her 9-year-old to ride the subway by himself. Ride the subway by himself. And her reason for doing that, she said, because what she was saying was, you have to know where the child is and how mature he is and in his development and all of that. So she said he could read the map, so he knew where he was on the subway, and he had money if he needed it. So she felt it was okay. She thought it was okay. She was allowing him to grow, exert his independence. Most of the people who commented said that she was in the other parenting style, and that's a style that is neglectful, uninvolved, uninvolved. Yes, Zerlina, nine,
Nine. Mm-hmm.
9 years old. Now, that was in 2008. Things were a little bit different. Folks weren't quite as crazy as they are now, but they're still crazy. My question to you is, would you let a 9-year-old who could read very well, who could understand the signs, and who had money in his pocket, would you let them ride the subway alone? Lynn, you say no.
No.
What's the village say? What do you think? Weigh in, weigh in.
Mm-mm.
Yep, Zerlina,
Nine.
at
Mm-mm.
9 years old. A mature nine,
No.
but 9 years old.
No.
Bernice says emphatically no. Zerlina says
No.
no. Angie has no.
At
No.
9, he was
Marsha,
a mature
Marcellus,
9.
no.
He was a mature 9 because he could put his Legos together.
No. Now,
That's what
I don't
made
know
him a
what
mature 9.
I have no idea what she felt
Considered mature as a
mature,
mature 9?
mature.
No.
But I will say this. Um, I don't know whether any of you have watched. Marcia says no, no. Mm-mm. And you know I'm a no.
Yeah.
But I have watched many programs on television, and it has to do with just that, the
Mm-hmm.
maturity of the child,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of the parenting. And I will take the one that they most often show, and that is the one about strangers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have told our children, yeah, Ida's a no as well. We tell
Mm-hmm.
our children, don't talk to strangers, don't get in a car with anybody, don't do this, don't do that, don't do the other. And it is amazing. Uh, they had different sets of parents say, we're going to have a person come up to your child. They're going to say that they're looking for a lost dog. And can you help me? Do
Mm-hmm.
you think that your child will go with this stranger? And emphatically, they said no.
No. Mm-hmm.
They won't do it. I've taught them not to do it. Hey, Francina, uh, taught them not to talk to strangers, taught them not to get in a car, blah, 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 blah. And one parent after another, after another, after another was amazed by the fact
Yes.
that when that man came up
They
and
went.
said, have you seen my dog? I've lost my dog.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can help me go and find them. That child went.
Mm-hmm.
That child went. So I don't know. There are many parents that get um, uh, what is the word I want to use? They get charged with being overprotective, of their children,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's the issue of the maturity of the child, you
Yeah.
know.
Mm-hmm.
But it always back to it's got to be what you're comfortable with. It's got to be what you have observed
Right.
with the child. We can't just say, well, because I told him that and because I explained it to
Mm-hmm.
him or her, that's the way that they're going to go. So,
Listen, I I think I took my kids to school until Jasmine got into high school, and she wanted to take the school bus. I still let her take the school bus, but it wasn't until she was in 12th grade that I allowed her to walk the block and a half
mhm,
to go stand outside for the school bus. I still drove her to the school bus, and I waited
mhm,
for her to get on the school bus.
mhm,
Not that she wasn't mature enough to walk down the street,
mhm.
but it's 6 o'clock in the
Start,
morning and it's dark.
start.
Maturity's out the window on that. No, that
Mhm.
was a no. But I remember I was going to say my mom, like you were my mom. Uh, there were two things I had to do because I walked to school. Growing up in DC, we didn't have school buses. You walked to school. You walked to school and you walked home. It wasn't a matter that you in the school district or range. If that's where you was going, you either walked or you took public transportation. But I never understood it when I was growing up. My mom would make me call before I left to go to school and call when I got home.
Yes,
And I
ma'am.
called before I had to go to school because my mom was already gone and already at work. And by the time I got home from school, she wasn't home. So, but I would call and I had to call. And I remember every day she would ask me, what do you have on?
That's right.
And I thought, why does she keep asking me that? And it wasn't until I was an adult and I asked her one day, why did you make me do that? And her response to me was, do you know how foolish I would sound to the police officer when they asked me, what did she have on? And I couldn't tell them what you wore if something had happened. So
Mhm.
there's a reason, a rhyme and a reason for why we as parents do the things we do. And a lot of times our children just don't get it. But it wasn't until I was an adult did I get that. That
Mhm.
made so much sense to me. Growing up, I thought that was the most ridiculous thing I had ever heard. I had to call before I went to school and please don't let me call and the secretary don't deliver that message. That was the issue.
Oh yeah,
That was gonna be an issue
that's the
because
problem.
what was not gonna happen was I was not gonna get in trouble. But the secretary may get in trouble because that's just how you have to rely on that. I have to be able to rely on that. And I'm still that way with my daughter. She's grown. But when she gets off of work, I don't go to sleep till she come in the house. Period. Because she
And,
doesn't drive, she
and
has to walk home.
I don't think our young people understand until you are a parent
Mm-hmm.
what that does to your nerves.
Ooh,
That's
that
basically
anxiety,
what it does to your nerves.
that's no
And
joke.
I would tell my grandson, you have to understand that a lot of times they think it's a checking in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't I shouldn't have to check in. I'm too old to have to check in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they don't understand that in the age in which we live,
Yeah.
particularly for African American men,
Yep.
you leave the house, you may not get back.
Right.
And I, as a parent, now when
Mm-hmm.
you're not under my roof, it's different,
Mm-hmm.
different thing. But as a parent, if something were to happen,
Right.
the questions are going to be, when is the last time you saw them?
Mm-hmm.
What were they wearing?
Mm-hmm.
Where were they headed?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have an expected time that they would return? And that's what I require to sleep at
Right.
night. To sleep at night. I
Mm-hmm.
don't need to know the details of what you're doing while you're out there and all of
Mm-hmm.
that. But if you're leaving work and you have no intention of coming home, I
Say
need to know.
something.
Just call. Just let
Say
me know.
something.
Just let me know. And I don't want to have to or think I should have to impose the rule that says you got to be in here by thus and so time.
Right. No. Mm-mm.
No, but you need to at least tell me if you're not coming in
Right.
so that I'm not sitting up waiting for you. And
Mm-hmm.
if you don't get in, I
Mm-hmm.
know when to alert somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It's that thing of saying this is not like them.
Right.
This is not the behavior
Mm-hmm.
that that is typical. So I know something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If you're always in the house 15 minutes after you get off from work and it gets to be 30 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
something's wrong.
Right.
Something has happened. So
Mm-hmm.
those are just, nuances of what all of this means and how it's all
Right.
applied.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Um, those are the two primary
Mm-hmm.
areas. The other two are permissive parenting, which is
Mm-hmm.
the indulgent parent, warm responses, few to no rules, uh, indulgent and very lenient.
Mm-hmm.
And this is indicative of the parent that sets the rules but rarely enforces them. It's that if I have to tell you again, if I
Right.
have to tell you again, if I have to tell you one more time, you know, and they just kind of let it go, let it go, let it go.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. I was about to, my phone is letting me know that it's about to die.
Oh,
So I didn't want the village to get startled when the light went out because I have to use the port for that to plug. Look, I have to do like I do with everything. Hold, please. Wait a
Victoria,
minute.
Victoria said that one is not me. Permissive, and that's not.
No, that's not me either. That's
And,
no.
the other one is one that I don't think anybody will admit to, and that's the neglectful parent.
Mm-mm.
Cold and unresponsive,
No.
no rules, uninvolved,
Mm-mm.
and indifferent.
Mm-mm.
Indifferent. So, of the four styles, the least likely that you will see is the permissive and neglectful. Now, those tendencies of the permissive parent, I think they're in the authoritative and the authoritarian sometimes, because we don't want to.
Okay.
It's about enforcing the
Right.
rules you set, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that gets to be an issue,
Mm-hmm.
a problem. Now, there are two other. We're at 7:37. I want to
Mm.
talk about these um, two other methods of parenting that I hear a lot about, and I think I'm not. I think they are a part of the four major ones, particularly the first two
Okay.
that we talked about. One is called free range parenting. And one of
You
the
see
things,
me? You don't see me? Look.
one of the immediate things that they said about free range parenting is that free range parenting does not mean that you just take your hands off and let the child do what they want to do. Now, I think it is incumbent upon us to know and understand as we look at these parenting styles, and you were saying it earlier, I can take pieces,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't go so far
Right.
in any direction
Mm-hmm.
that it's become acceptable.
Right.
You know, you got to train up a child.
Mm-hmm.
You got to train it. Now, the free range parenting style says it's a concept of raising children in the spirit of encouraging them to function independently and with limited supervision in accordance with their age and development. It is not about permissive or uninvolved, but rather allowing them to have the freedom to experience the natural consequences of their behavior. Got to be consequences of the behavior when it's safe to do so, while
I
making
have to
sure
laugh.
they have the skills they need to become responsible adults. Okay, go.
I chuckle. I'm sorry, and it's probably there might be somebody out there that truly believes this, but I chuckle that first of all, when you tell me free range, I immediately think eggs. Free range eggs because it's
Oh,
the type of feed. Free range. So that's what I thought of. But I remember listening to the person who was somebody who was really into the free range parenting, and the whole discussion was why does he have to sit down to the table to eat? Maybe he doesn't want to sit at the table to eat. Why are you stressing or forcing them to eat at the table? And so many people were chiming in and was like, that's right. And I thought, because we're not raising savages. When it's dinner time, you sit down to eat at the table. Not great, not you. You don't get to decide that I don't want to eat and you don't come sit at the table, but you come to the table, pick up your little nugget or whatever, bite off of it, put it down, and then go run off because he's not ready to eat now. Or no, because those are those children, I'm sorry, that in the restaurant that you want to just pluck them.
okay.
Because they're all over everywhere.
That gets into that thing, old school, new school.
Right. And
School, new school.
I'll be old
The new
school.
the new parenting styles,
Right.
seem to be, it looks like it looks like that you're just sitting back, letting them make up the rules, letting them make all the decisions,
Mm-hmm.
making them or allowing them uh, to do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really what free range parenting should be. There
Exactly. It
still
shouldn't.
needs to be rules. There still needs to be an application of those rules.
You
Um,
see Victoria's comment.
I am old school. I got your free range.
Okay. I'm with Victoria. I'm
it I, but hey, I am not a child care expert. I'm not, on this program to be a child care expert. I am just trying to gain a greater understanding of how we are handling our children, because it's a problem. Too many
Mhm.
of them are dying. Too many of them are caught up in situations and circumstances that are very, very detrimental
Right.
to them. And we always look back and look to the parent, and as a parent say, what didn't I do? It
Mm-hmm.
could be you, it was nothing that you did.
Mm-hmm.
But you still look back and you look over and you think, what could I have changed? What could I have done differently? What should I have put in place? What was it that I didn't get? And
It's again it's that whole age thing, because I think of the parents. I can't with the children. I think it might have been Columbine. I'm not sure. I can't remember. They were getting all of this paraphernalia and stuff delivered to the home while they were secluded in the basement to do harm, and they did do harm. And then when they asked the parents, like, you didn't know, they said, well, we were giving them their privacy.
there is a balance, and this is what I'm getting from all of this and all of these different parenting styles. There is some good in all of them, but you have to understand there's some things that are detrimental
Mm-hmm.
in all of them as well. And you have to be able to pick and choose, and you have to make the decision in those first two,
Mm-hmm.
in those the whole thing of rules,
Right.
and how you will apply those rules and how they will understand the consequences of not following those rules and
Mm-hmm.
those kinds of things. That's what I'm saying. If
Mm-hmm.
I had to take the best, of all of them, I
Mm-hmm.
could pull something from each of them except the permissive and the uninvolved. I
Right.
there's
I
no
can't do that.
that I see that would help. Balance is key. I see
Mm-hmm.
in more than one style.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, Victoria. And I think that's where all of us should be.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should see ourselves in more than one style.
Mm-hmm.
Something is predominant. There's
Yeah.
always something that is predominant,
Mm-hmm.
but it is not the be all and the end all. And
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk to you about one more style. It is called helicopter parenting. Helicopter parenting. Let me tell you what it says. Describes a parent who takes an overprotective interest in their children, pays extremely close attention to their kids' activities and schoolwork in an effort to help them succeed. The parent that is so busy doing the homework for the child that you want to ask them, what grade are you getting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Known to hover over their children and become overly involved in their lives,
Mm-hmm.
overly involved in their lives to shield them from disappointment, failure, and conflict, which need to come, because that is a part of life and what life is. Okay, that is almost 7:45. It is
It's
7:45.
7:45.
Look, guys, I'm going to send you the survey. I'm going to do it right. At least I'm going to try to do it right after the program. Um, uh, Angie, I need you to check and see whether you got The survey, Zerlina, I need you to check and see if you got the survey. I emailed it to you before the program. So please respond to me at speaklifewithandrea@gmail.com. That's speaklifewithandrea@gmail.com, so that I can get that to you so that we can conclude the conversation next week. Zerlina, you got yours. Yay! Okay.
Yay!
If she got hers, then Angie, you should have yours as well,
I
because
got mine.
I sent all of them out at the same time. Okay, so
I
I've
got
got
it.
three more to send, and that's Ida, and that's Bernice, and that's Victoria. Ida, Bernice,
And
and
Victoria.
okay. So you guys look to have yours. Anything that you want to put in the comment section or send me or whatever, feel free to do so. I will be sending the four parenting styles in a different email so that you will have that to kind of look back on and jog your memory a little bit. Look, I think this is important because I do want to tell you that the one thing that I did not find anywhere, and I won't say I didn't find it anywhere, but I didn't find it in the most popular or frequent parenting styles like I did for the four that I mentioned tonight, and that was godly parenting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're going to be talking about in addition to this on our next broadcast.
And sometimes that godly parenting can be strict as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But there's some things
There's some things that
that's got to be there.
yes, God, but
So look,
yeah,
you guys, I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. I thank you for commenting along the way. Look forward to have your to getting your survey and completing it for me and sending it to me so that I can get all the results together. Please come back next week and join us as we continue with this discussion on parenting. Take care. I want you to have a wonderful evening. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Lynn, somebody is going to help us get your screen straight.
look,
Don't know who,
what,
but somebody. And
what?
Victoria, some of my techie folks out there, Lynn is trying to get her picture so that it covers the whole screen and she doesn't have those panels on the side. So if you know anything about settings and setting things up from the iPhone and all that, please help her out. Thank you so
Help a
much.
sister.
Lynn, thank you for being with me tonight. Look forward to everything next week. And come on back, 7
Yep.
p.m. And when you do, be ready to receive so that when life speaks, you'll
You'll
speak
speak life.
life. Good night, everybody.
Good
Thanks.
night.